Today's Chronicle comments are from the post Euphemisms and the Job Market,
and are presented by edhacker.net. Enjoy.
I have also noticed a tendency for recent applicants to our graduate program to list themselves as founder and CEO of Warmth for the Homeless, rather than I started a club that collects and distributes blankets once a year.
Some other usefully ambiguous phrases for letters of reference. In a field where excellence is commonplace, Dr. X truly stands out. I cannot praise Ms. Y too highly. If you can get Mr. Z to work for you, you're very fortunate. The list just goes on.
I've become very unimpressed by job titles, so I've never considered employing them myself, but I have seen plenty of rather humorous, though I don't think the creators intended humor, titles in academia over the years. I suppose some people's egos need such stroking.
Like in the old socialist countries, a title substitutes for a raise.
I like to refer to my time-trolling monster, LinkedIn, Indeed.com, Mass Lawyers Weekly, and other sites as Chief Legal Officer for Executive Submissions for Operational Success, Dr. Unemployed, Esquire, Attorney at Law, etc.
A few years ago our organization went through a branding exercise and we were encouraged by our consultant to have some fun with our titles. I was resident heretic and court jester, and so it was on our website for several years to surprisingly few adverse effects.
While I slide by as the corner curmudgeon,
and here I was trying to convince the deputy head of my department to put Unter Führer on his door.
The loftiness of the position is generally in inverse proportion to the number of syllables in its title.
One old chestnut is to roll the word executive in front of a title to lift it up a bit.
Executive adjunct. You're right, I like the sound of that much better.
I have always aspired to the title Vicar of Temporal Affairs.
Once I read, I am also adept at networking, dialoguing, reprioritizing and adding value. I am done. But more recently I have encountered the spurious claims of being real good at working with diversity people. And after pulling my jaw up, I have to gasp for air. The letters of reference, along with the 30-page resumes, go into the reject pile immediately. I am so weary of inflated, convoluted, worthless collections of words to lift up the applicant's file to some fictitious level of predictable and IPC buzzwords that usually do guarantee them a second read among my socially just colleagues. Puke.
I tell my students to fit the word diversity into their statement as many times as possible. They always land a job.
Universities in Europe have 4 ranks for faculty to America's 3. At the US-style English language division where I work, they originally translated their ranks as instructor, assistant professor, associate professor, professor. Then one day the powers that be decided to change the titles to assistant professor, associate professor, professor, and they had trouble deciding the highest rank, which translates ordinary professor in their language, so they call it full professor. Anyway, that change gave me what looks like a promotion without any change of salary.
I thought Europe was on the metric system. They should have just simplified the whole hierarchy to professor and some decimal proportions thereof.
Some days I feel like 1/10 of a professor.
I think that in recent years, as the economy has tightened, a lot of organizations have gotten creative in terms of inventing perks that don't cost anything. I once worked for a frightfully defective organization where one year no one got a raise but we all got to change our titles to Vice President for, followed by the name of our department. I suspect you'll be seeing more of that.
Gosh, and here I've been a plain old academic advisor for 26 years. Any suggestions on how to make myself sound more important?
Executive academic advisor.
Of course, hey, I can even be senior executive academic advisor, since I have been in my department longer than all of the other advisors. Oh, senior chief executive academic advisor, or should it be chief senior? Anything else I can add to that string of descriptive non-descriptive adjectives? Now, what other titles can I add? I'll have to think on that and get back to you.
Personally, I'd make you the vice president for academic advising, but only if you agreed to wear the funny hat which would come with the title.
Oh, most definitely. The more ridiculous, the better. And with a hood in the most unappealing, mismatched colors possible. Avocado green in a particularly putrid shade and a muddy magenta might suit. Surely there is some university out there with that combination.
And that senior executive vice president academic advisor.
Oh, man, King of Lemurs is taken. Well, back to trying to find a job as vice chancellor for inopportune noises.